Right, people, I did want to just do this, really. This is the psychiatric report, police finding closed psychiatric report, in the case of Mrs. Rebecca Cooper, and and that's the psychiatrist who did the... This is what we sent off to Universal Credit for them to give me the limited availability for work component, basically to special needs to work. I know Miss Cooper has been diagnosed with autism as a child. In her case, this is characterised by persistent deficits in ability to initiate and sustain reciprocal social interaction and social communication by a range of restricted, repetitive and inflexible patterns of behaviour, including making repeated phone calls to emergency services and making threats, interests and activities which are clearly atypical, including interests in dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, and not commensurate to the individual's age and social cultural context. The onset of the disorder in her case occurred during her early childhood, with the symptomatology becoming manifest later into her life. The social demands of children and relationships exceeded her limited capacities. Her deficits of social communication, interaction, and lack of imagination cause such impairment to her that they have disrupted her personal, family, social, educational and occupational life. These deficits in social interaction and communication are pervasive. She has pervasive inappropriate responses to verbal and non-verbal social communication of others. Her language skills are well developed, i.e. her vocabulary is well developed, but she fails to understand non-verbal cues. Her eye contact is poor, 'cause I don't ever look people in the eyes. She does not understand facial expressions and body language. Her use of language is not appropriate in social contexts, and she struggles to initiate reciprocal conversation. Her social awareness is poor. Her ability to imagine and response to feelings and emotional states and attitudes of others is very minimal. She is unable to sustain typical peer relationships. She lacks adaptability to new experiences and circumstances. She has inflexible adherence to routines. She has repetitive stereotyped motor movements, especially in her fingers, and atypical gait. She has hypersensitivity to sounds. She does not have a concurrent disorder of intellectual development, i.e. her cognitive functioning level is relatively normal. She does not have any impairment of functional language. She would satisfy the diagnostic criteria for autistic spectrum disorder, and he's not allowed to have lied to a judge and lie to the court. He has to say it as it is and do all the studying and learning about me and my medical records and go through everything, because that's what a shrink's job is. Autism spectrum disorder with no impairment of functional language as per the International Classification of the Disease version 11. Due to her autistic spectrum disorder, which is a mental disorder and a mental disorder within the meaning of the Mental Health Act, she lacks the ability to cope with social relationships and is overwhelmed with social demands, and in this context appears to seek attention and care by making repeated phone calls to the emergency services, which are threatening and abusive, ensuring a response from emergency services, and in some instances ensuring a response from emergency services, and in some instances eliciting care, and in other instances eliciting containment and being detained in custody or similar. Paradoxically, this has a reinforcing effect in her case. Reinforcing effect in her case, i.e., during the current index offences, she was living in a house of multiple occupancy and was struggling to care for herself, and her relationship with her partner Simon had broken down, and by making the phone calls that she made and by abusing emergency service staff resulted in her being detained in custody, which she sees as a refuge. The normal loss of liberty and detention in situations such as the segregation unit away from others, which would normally be a severe punishment to those who seek social interaction and social contact, is not a deterrent in her case. She sees segregation as a refuge in a prison setting. Unfortunately, a custodial sentence and a custodial detention in her case only has a reinforcing effect on her behaviours. Basically, every time I go to jail and I get what I want, it's going to make it worse, basically. She is currently fit to plead and fit to stand trial on the balance of probabilities. She has a clear understanding of the role of the judge, the jury, and the evidence presented against her, and would be able to give evidence in her own defence if the need arose. She would be able to participate to the requisite extent in her trial. And basically just going on about that, really. And then it says, over the last 2 decades, she has caused immense difficulties to emergency services and effectively caused emergency services to deploy a large amount of resources, and her actions have also had a disruptive effect on those around her. For the management of her behaviour in a community setting, she would require an integrated care board commissioner-led care and treatment review as part of transforming care pathway for those with autistic spectrum disorder. Such a care and treatment review would identify her care needs in a community setting and support in the commissioning of a package of care for her. Unless there is an established package of care involving carers supporting her in a community setting, with appropriate accommodation, and she received support with regard to her alcohol dependence together with her autism, it is unlikely that this pattern of behaviour would alter in a community setting. Considering the above, I have made a referral to the local mental health trust to consider providing her mental health care input for autism spectrum disorder, and also participate in a care and treatment review. I have also made a referral to the local ICB commissions for transforming care to establish a care and treatment review in her case for autistic spectrum disorder, so a care package could be established for her in a community setting. Similarly, I have made a referral to the healthcare manager at HMP Foston Hall, because I was temporarily on remand there at the time of this report was written, so that there would be a better understanding of her mental health needs and autistic spectrum disorder, so that she could be supported appropriately in a prison setting. There is unlikely to be an easy solution or ready solution to her behaviours, due to these being driven by her autistic spectrum disorder, which is not treatable readily, and it is likely that unless there is an established package of care, her behaviour would not change in a community setting. And that's what he said, really, and going on about all this. But he's a genuine psychiatrist. He ain't bullshitting anyone. Should the court be considering a custodial sentence in her case, I would recommend that this would be for the shortest period of time, with a long period on licence, so that the probation service, together with the NHS and social care services, could provide her a package of care via a care and treatment review in a community setting. So that's what gets me off every time. This report that my solicitor demanded that was done is the reason I get off with super light sentences if I do go to prison, or I don't go to prison at all. Now you know the genuine reason I've avoided jail so much, and why none of the people I upset ever got their justice, and now you know the reason. Should the court be considering a community sentence in her case, I would recommend this would include a suspended sentence, which would have a deterrent effect and also support with regard to her alcohol dependence, an alcohol monitoring device which would prevent her from consuming alcohol could be beneficial in her case. She currently does not have a mental disorder of nature or degree that requires inpatient treatment in hospital, whilst the care and treatment review is being set up to provide her a package of care in a community setting. I'm approved as the Secretary of State of Purpose, Section 12 of the Mental Health Act, amended, and that was Dr. McGardy, or whoever his name is, who's the shrink. And yeah, now you know the reason nobody will ever get justice no matter what I do, why the police go easy on me, why the court systems go easy on me, why the judges go easy on me. So people might as well just give up trying to live this pipe dream of me getting mega amounts of time in mega amounts of time in custody, because that's just enforcing the behaviour, as he clearly stated. So it wouldn't be providing the necessary safeguarding for the members of public anyway, because every time I go to prison I come out worse. So technically, yeah, you're saying it's a reinforcing thing in my case, which it truly is. None of that was a lie. But okay, people, I'm going to go now. Bye.